Hi guys, it's me Nicolette Mashile, and today I want to talk a little bit about the buying of shares and also how do you actually make money off your shares. I think in the last video, the video was a bit too long, so people might not have gotten to that part of the video. So I'm just cutting up the video a little bit and giving you guys little snippets of the actual video so that you can get your questions answered as quickly as possible. So where do you buy shares? Let's start off with what a share is. A share is you buying a portion of a company. So what these companies will do is they will publicly list a certain amount of shares that are then regulated and registered with the JSE, and then you as an individual at home or as a company can then go out and buy those shares, right? That's finished. They will probably be listing these shares whether to raise some capital to make the company get a new wing or a new product or a new line, or they need to fund some research and something, but really it is to raise capital, right? So anyway, where do you buy these shares? Now you cannot pick up the phone and call Vodacom or call Capitec Bank and call Standard Bank and say, I want to buy shares. Can you imagine the amount of sales of shares that happen in a day? Some people actually trade shares. So can you imagine how a company like Standard Bank would need manpower just to be able to man that? So what happens is that they put in a third party, which is called a stockbroking company, and that stockbroking company will then allow you to be able to trade or buy or sell shares, right? So basically you would need to find what we call a stockbroker, and the JSE has a list of registered stockbrokers that you can work with to be able to buy any of the JSE listed equities. So make sure that even before you start using the company, it is registered with the JSE, right? So companies like the fintech called Easy Equities, these and the likes of Standard Bank's SGB Securities, these are platforms that allow you to do it yourself. So it's a DIY type of platform. You basically need to upload money into your account with those different companies, and you then have the carte blanche to literally buy the shares that you want to buy. They do offer some sort of value by giving you information, giving you trends of that company, giving you the latest information that could influence the share price. So you've got all the resources and tools that you may need for you to be able to make a sound and a good financial decision, right? But obviously, if you don't actually know what's happening with the company, it might just be a little bit difficult. Then you get equity products, and equity products are things like ETFs, exchange traded funds, real estate investment funds, trusts, unit trusts. These are a combination of different equities, sometimes even different other asset classes that make up these equity products. And what you basically then do is you would buy a product, right? Like the Satrix RAFI, it's called the Satrix RAFI or the Satrix Top 40. That is literally different equity products that these different companies have put together. But even those, all ETFs in this country, all REITs in this country, and all unit trusts have to be registered. So you need to make sure that whatever ETF it is that you're buying is still registered with the FSCA, and I think there's another body that actually it needs to be registered with, right? So you need to know that it actually exists, instead of Nicolette tomorrow coming to you and just saying, yo, I have the Nicolette Mashile unit trust and you can buy. No, lies. Don't lie. Don't lie to people. Make sure that it is a registered unit trust or a registered ETF or a registered REIT. So that's basically what it is. How do you make money from your shares? So remember that your shares will, how do you actually make money from shares? Sorry guys, my brain is working 10 times harder than it should be today. So how do you make money? There's two ways in which you can make money. Both ways are not guaranteed. I want that to be very clear to everybody. Both ways in which you can make money are not guaranteed. Are we clear on that? Perfect. In actual fact, somebody was saying today, if you had bought an iPad in 2000, I think this is Maya Fisher French. She said if you bought an iPod in 2001 when it got released as a product on Apple, and you've paid 3,500 in South African rands, you would have, according to today's share price of Apple, have 900,000 rand if you were to sell today. Obviously, keeping in mind that you are going to pay some tax on it. Anyway, park that aside. How do you make money? You make money in two ways. As I said, they are not guaranteed. The first way is appreciation of the share price, and the second way is dividends. Now, appreciation of share price is literally the same way you see a house, how you buy a house and then it appreciates. the opposite of what a car does, right? So the share price will grow, sometimes it will drop. So with shares, there is a possibility of the share price also dropping. You saw it with Steinhoff, when the scandal hit, the share price dropped. So basically those who were holding Steinhoff shares and sold, they probably made a loss, right? But depending on when they bought, of course. If you bought at 3 Rand and the share price was 10 Rand and then it dropped to 4 Rand, you're still making a profit if you sell. So you're still doing absolutely all right. Anyway, the second way in which you make money from your shares is what we call dividends. Now, I need this to be very clear to people. Dividends are also not guaranteed because they are at the discretion of the annual general meeting that gets held, and the board of directors will make a decision as to whether or not to pay out dividends. And usually they are paid out if the company does well. So the same thing that happens if your company goes through some shit during the year and doesn't do really well, and the bosses come and say, sorry, we can't pay bonuses, it's literally the same. Remember, bonuses also are at the discretionary of management in your company. If management decides that we're not going to be paying any bonuses, they don't pay, and you can't hold them accountable unless in your salary it says that you are entitled to a bonus. But in usual company terms, you are not even entitled to a bonus. So the same thing with dividends. You are not entitled to dividends. They are at the discretion of the board of directors and whether the company has done absolutely well. I mean, there are companies, I think Microsoft is one of them, that didn't pay dividends for the first 20 years. Microsoft. Let that sink in. A whole Microsoft, which has been selling us Microsoft 97, Microsoft 98, Microsoft 90, whatever. They did not pay out dividends for a good 20 years. I might be incorrect on that one, but I think that's the company. So anyway, y'all, guys, that's how you make your thing. But remember, guys, none of my videos are financial advice. So please don't take anything that I say as financial advice. Mwah.